Before we do get into this episode, I just wanted to mention that we do talk about somebody who is no longer with us anymore. Sadly has passed away. MC Skibadee, who is very loved, very respected, and my condolences to all of his friends and family, and certainly to Cheree, who was really brave coming on today and talking about it. With that being said, let's get this episode started. Welcome back to season 2 of That's Another Story podcast. I am your host, Lisa Andrews, and I have a really special guest today that is also a friend, but today she's a guest, and I'd like her to introduce herself.
Hello, Lisa.
Hello,
Thank
Cheree.
you for having me on your podcast. Obviously, I've been watching your journey, and I must say I'm very, very proud of you.
Thank you.
And it's nice to see a mom out there doing her thing, working hard, and getting your side of the story out, because I think it's important for a woman, for people to see their side of the story. So I thought I'd come on and tell you my side of the story.
Yeah, I think it works both ways with us, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We've got completely different stories, but there's a connection and definitely a similarity with, like you say, your children are your most important thing, and I know Skylar's like your whole world. So we're going to talk about everything today, aren't we?
Yeah, everything.
We're going to get into the nitty-gritty. Shall we talk about, or I'd like to say, let's talk about how we met.
Yeah.
In the first place. What's your memory of it? And I'll give you my...
Okay, so me and Skibba and Callum from IB for Weekender, we designed this product called Fresh Eggs, and with Fresh Eggs we wanted to do a celebrity launch party. And then I come to see you about doing it in your club.
Yeah. Which
you was the hostess with the mostest. Like, everybody knew Lisa in Essex because you put on the biggest parties,
yeah.
You had all the celebrities at your club, and that was my first meeting up with you and said, yeah, because we had a couple of clubs that we was going to look at. And then when I met you, I thought, no, that's a club.
We clicked, didn't we? We clicked, and I'll tell you what resonates with me, what I remember, and watching your journey to where you are now. I've thought about this a lot, and I've said it verbally to people whenever it's been brought up, because we've been in and out of each other's lives, haven't we? I haven't seen you all the time, we've gone off, but we're always in the background, aren't we?
Yeah.
But I remember someone saying something about Skibba a while back, not anything bad at all, and I said, do you know what I remember, and this is hand on heart, you guys coming to the club, and I remember when you left thinking, what a lovely relationship Skibba and Cheree have got, and that's a genuine comment. Like, you bounced off of each other, you were both passionate, you were very similar in some ways. Like, I felt like in the way, he's a perfectionist, I think.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah. Yeah, he likes
Have I
everything
got that right?
a certain way.
Yeah.
He like literally we planned our outfits. Well, I planned his outfit, what he was going to wear,
Yeah.
and we was going to have matching outfits, and everything was planned like a couple of weeks before.
But you were a team, weren't you? That's what stuck in my mind. I thought, do you know what? They're not only a couple, they're a team, and that definitely stayed with me.
Yeah,
when anyone's ever mentioned you two, I've said I saw complete love between them two.
Because we was best friends at the start. Like, I knew Skibba for 20 years before we got together.
Yeah.
So we was always friends for many, many years, and you watched me sort of like grow up. And it was weird because even yesterday, I get loads and loads and loads of messages, and someone messaged me yesterday, another MC, and he went, do you know what, you and Skibba watching you online give me inspiration to have my daughter, because I just loved watching you both online. And he said to me, I would really love it if you could bring Skylar to meet my daughter, because me and my partner used to watch you online and just used to love your relationship. And obviously online, everyone's seen us grow online and come together, have a baby, and it was just sad how everyone watched our relationship develop, and then there's evil girls out there that just want to bring you down and do horrible things to you.
Of course, and trolls,
Trolls.
which I can definitely relate to. Them trolls are pure evil, aren't they?
Yeah, and I think I was trolled from Fresh Eggs.
Do you?
Yeah, I was trolled from Fresh Eggs.
Can we just let the viewers know what Fresh Eggs is?
Yeah, so Fresh Eggs is an alcohol, well, it stops you from getting that really draining hangover in the morning. So it just takes the edge off everything. So going back to the Fresh Eggs launch party, we wanted it to go viral, and obviously Callum was really good friends with me at the time. He was going out with Georgia from Love Island. Skibba, I just brought Skibba into this big celebrity world because previous to that I was launching products for Big Brother, beauty products.
Yeah.
So I've always been in that like celebrity
You've
circle.
always been in that world, haven't you?
So Skibba was like, I remember one time he's coming and I said to him, look, come and meet Callum. And he was a bit like, who the fuck is this Callum?
Yeah.
Right? Because obviously he's mixed race, really good looking, all tattoos, beautiful looking. And Skibba's thinking,
who is this guy?
Yeah. And I said, I'm going to go and do Callum's facial. And he was like, what? Who's having a facial? Why would a man have a facial? So he was really like, a bit like, because Skibba's like a proper geezer thinking like, men don't have facials, they don't do that thing. So I remember one time he's coming to Everlash Gym where I was working, and Skibba's just stood there, and Callum's got this LED mask on, and it was just white, it looked like a gimp mask with flashing lights. And Skibba's opened the door and he's like,
what the hell have I got myself into?
What is going on here?
Who is this girl?
And then Callum's like pulled up his mask and he went, yeah, you're right, mate. And then they built up a really lovely relationship.
They did.
And we was all like going out together, and Callum had thousands of followers which started following me, that blew up my business pages, God bless him. And then obviously Skibba, and then me. So it was like 3 different genres of people that come together, which built up a brand very, very quickly. And obviously at your club we had Georgia, she'd just come out of Love Island.
Yeah, she had.
We had all the celebrities there. Mackie G was DJing, Sam Supplier was playing, and Skibba was performing. And do you remember he was emceeing with Georgia? And everyone was like, wow, this is just unbelievable.
It was a brilliant night, wasn't it? Like, it was brilliant. And then, Cheree, where did it all go wrong?
Well, I think when it was the beginning of our relationship was amazing. Like, honestly, Skibba was just the most amazing man, and we was really, really in love.
Yeah.
And then we would spend loads and loads of time together constantly, and then we decided to move in together, which was lovely. He didn't want to live in the area at the time where I lived, which was Lakeside. He wanted us to have a fresh start, move somewhere really nice. And we lived in Chatham, overlooking the sea. It was a beautiful flat. And then we went to Thailand, and I just thought to myself, I'm so in love. He was in love, and he said to me, let's try for a baby. And that was it. I didn't think I could ever get pregnant. I just really didn't think.
Didn't you?
No, I didn't think I could get pregnant.
And you'd never fallen before and had...
And yeah, I'd fallen pregnant before, but I just didn't think... for some reason, I just thought I was just going to end up...
I'm not going to be a mum.
No, I just thought I've got loads of siblings. Where I'd looked after my brothers and sisters my whole life, I was not really that bothered about having children. Yeah. Because for me, I felt like I was a mum anyway.
You've been a mum.
Because looking after 7 kids and spending your whole life since you was probably, you could, you know, be a mother. I had to mother all my brothers and sisters because my mum drank a lot, and I had no choice. I was like their mum.
And that's another story,
that's another story.
That is another story.
So for me, I wasn't that bothered. And then I remember we went to We Are Festival, and I've had this big party back at my house, and Bugsy Malone's come back to the party. he's turned up in this big car. He's had a fight with the neighbour next door, and I said, like, I'm going off. I'm going to go and meet Skibba.
Just your usual night.
Yeah,
just your average night.
Yeah, and it's like it was a bit crazy. Anyway, Skibba's come back to the party, and he just said to everyone, he's like, I'm going to get Cheree pregnant. She's going to be mine. That's it. So early on in the relationship, he said to me, "You're going to have a baby. You're going to have my baby." Yeah. And I just thought, oh yeah, it's not going to happen. And then Christmas we stayed in all the Christmas. I think the lockdown was just about to start, and then that was it. Went to Australia, and I felt really sick, and I just thought, oh my gosh, I feel really ill. And I said to my brother, I don't feel right. And then his wife said, you could be pregnant, and I was like, don't be so stupid, I can't be pregnant. I just didn't think I could be. And then I did 3 pregnancy tests and was pregnant, and I couldn't believe it. And then obviously we planned to go to this big full moon party, and then I found out I was pregnant, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't drink.
Yeah.
And then Skibba, I remember Skibba having me in the back of his motorbike, and we're touring all around Thailand, and we just had the most amazing experience ever. We had this.
And had you told him you were pregnant at this time, and was he over the moon?
Yeah, he was really happy.
Yeah.
But he just knew I was going to have a girl, which I found really weird. And I was always worried all the way throughout my pregnancy, because I'd never been pregnant this far gone before. Yeah.
And what were you worried about? Of losing her?
Yeah,
something going wrong?
Yeah, something going wrong. And also, I was just so paranoid. Yeah. Because I think when you first get pregnant, you just worry about everything. And then I remember Skibba, because we got back from Thailand, and I couldn't breathe. Anyway, I rang an ambulance because I couldn't breathe, and I was thinking, oh my God, I'm going to lose the baby. So from early on in the pregnancy, I had problems. So I got COVID.
And that
when I was pregnant.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and when I got back from
1 minute, sorry, my back's killing me.
When I got back from Thailand, I didn't realise, no one knew what it was, but I had pneumonia on my lungs and I couldn't breathe. And I said to Skibba, I can't breathe, I'm worried about the baby, and got rushed into hospital. And they didn't even know it was COVID, because COVID hadn't exploded yet.
Oh, it wasn't a thing?
Yeah, but I had really bad COVID, so I was in the hospital. So earlier on, I had all this trauma and worriness and scared and worried about the baby. But Skibba was like, look, she's a Bonzi, she's going to be fine. And he kept on calling her Cheree. Anyway, when I had all these tests done, so I paid privately, had all these tests done to make sure that the baby was okay.
Yeah.
And I remember the woman rang me up and she went, baby's all okay, you're having a lovely girl. And I was like, what?
Did you want to know?
Yeah.
You did want to know.
Yeah,
she didn't do it.
And I was like, ah, so I started crying. I said, oh no, I'm not having a girl. And I was really upset I was having a girl, because I wanted a boy.
Did you want a boy?
Yeah, I wanted a boy, I didn't want a girl. And then obviously now I would...
Oh, I know.
Yeah, there's no way I would not have a girl now, but I did want a boy. And I think where I had my cards read years ago, they said I was going to have a boy, so...
So you had that in your head. Was Skibba over the moon when you told him it was a girl?
Yeah, he knew it.
Did he just say, I told you?
But the saddest thing with that is I didn't know at the time that Skibba had 3 other girls.
Okay.
So I didn't know that, but he knew I was going to have a girl. He was adamant I was going to have a girl, and I just thought I was going to have a boy. But obviously, where he'd had 3 girls before, some men can only produce.
I was just about to say, do you think he was convinced that he could only produce girls?
Yeah, definitely. So he knew I was having a girl. And I just, I remember the first time I found out he had other kids. Do you remember Louise? That was my PA at the time.
Yes, yeah. I remember.
So she was talking to App, which was Skibba's PA at the time, and what happened is she found out by accident that Skibba had another. I was only told it was Asia. Then we found out that he had another 2 children, and that for me was the point where I'd hit a brick wall. The fairy tale was over.
Did you confront him?
Yeah, I was really upset. We had a massive argument, and he was really upset. He said, Cheree, I'm so sorry. And I said, how could you lie about not having 2 other kids? Like, you know, we're best friends. You're supposed to tell me everything. You know all my secrets.
What was the reason to
One
not own
child
up?
lived in Germany, and the other child, she was in South London somewhere. But I think because that woman at the time had grassed him up to the tax man, he just never had nothing to do with her.
The child.
And he had nothing to do with the child, which is a shame really, because there's no memories for that child online for her to see memories with her dad. Which is no fault of my own, because I did say to Skibba, why don't you try and build that relationship up, and he just shut it down. And I just said to him, I said it was really sad to find out that you had 2 other children.
Because they're Skylar's sisters, right?
Yeah.
Half sisters, however, you know, however we look at that, they're related, aren't they?
Yeah. And if one day if Skylar wants to go and meet them, she can.
She can.
Yeah, because they all look very similar, to be honest.
Do they all look similar?
Yeah, I think they all look similar.
I mean, Skylar's beautiful, isn't she?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to say this. I'm such a fan of mixed race kids. I don't care what anyone thinks of me.
I think they're always the beautiful ones.
I just think they're just unreal. I really do.
But I think as well it's hard because I'm going through that stage with Skylar. She goes to a really beautiful school, and I'm the only single mum that's in the class. Okay, so Skylar's had to have like special counselling.
Yeah. Because
she would say to me, Mum, where's my dad? She couldn't understand where her dad had gone, and she felt that when she was going to school, everyone was talking about their dads, and she's telling kids that my dad's in the moon. Yeah. And then she couldn't understand why Mum is on her own. And then the teacher said to me, she had to sit her down and explain to her and say to Skylar, look, I'm on my own and I've got 3 children. There's nothing wrong with Mum being at home, because Skylar's never seen me with another bloke. No. She's never seen me with anyone except for her dad. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So she's just like, Mum, why haven't I got a dad? You know?
Where's my dad?
Where's my dad? Yeah. And then she does these little things where she'll hold her little pillow at night and she'll go, I love my dad. Or I'll go into a room, sports day the other day, and she'll go, Mum, I wish my dad would be here.
So Cheree, have you, clearly you've told Skylar Daddy's in heaven?
Yeah. No, I say Daddy's up in the moon, right, and he's singing with the angels.
Yeah.
So I think...
So she knows as much as she's 4, right?
Yeah, she's 4.
She knows as much as she can that Daddy's up there. I'm going to say this, Daddy's not coming.
Yeah.
Has she grasped that, or...?
I think it's the worst for a child, because how do you say to a child that your dad's never ever coming back again? It's like something that you, as a mother...
You never want to say it.
You never want to say it. No. And it's like, you know, this effect is going to be on Skylar for the rest of her life. And I'm having it more now as she's growing up, because she's like, Mum, can you just ring him? And I'll be driving down the road, and obviously I'm really trying to like hold everything together. And she'll go, Mum, can you just call Dad? And I said, Skylar, you can't just call him. I said, he's up in the moon. He's talking to, he's got sent to all the angels. And
it's a lot,
she
isn't
just
it?
Constantly asks me questions about it.
As you're saying that, Brie, I can relate to a point. I'm not for 1 minute trying to say I understand, because Skibba's no longer with us, but I know the feeling of Daddy's not coming. And I don't know, it's different, because I can only go by my situation with Harley. Daddy's there, he can see Daddy playing with 7 other kids, and Daddy's not coming. And it's fucking brutal.
Yeah, and I think it has an effect,
I was just about to say, no matter
kids.
what the scenario, whether Daddy sadly passed or Daddy doesn't give a toss, whatever the answer is, it does affect kids. It really does. And I'm not saying that, you know, you will do your best, but it will always hurt Skylar. And I don't want to say that and be out of term, and she will come to terms with it, but of course it affects kids, you know, and you can't control that, sadly. There's nothing you can do about that.
And I don't know about you, but I always wanted that relationship, and that's one of the reasons why I never really had children, because I always wanted to be in a relationship where my mom wasn't with my dad and I was brought up in a broken home. I always wanted to have the mum and the dad.
The perfect family.
The perfect family. And I still, to this day, think, I've been on my own now for 4 years, and I just think, no, it's time for me to meet someone. I want to meet someone.
We need to find Cheree a partner. If anyone's watching, contact Amy at That's Another Story podcast and we'll arrange a date. There you go.
Yeah, so I need to, I want to find someone. I'm ready to find someone.
Yeah.
I think the universe is going to find me a nice man. I want to get married. I want to have that happy ending.
And you will.
And I want Skylar to experience having a father.
Yeah.
Because although no one's going to replace Skibba, I think every girl every daughter, every son needs a father in their life.
I agree.
What about you? So you had Harley, and then you went on to have a white daughter.
Yeah.
So how did you find that scenario? Because it's like blending the kids, isn't it, really?
100%. So I didn't want to meet anyone after I had Harley. It was me and Harley against the world, which you've been through as well. Skylar's 4 now, and Harley was 5 when I met. No, he was 4, just before he started school, and met him completely by chance. He asked me out, we went on a couple of dates, and like you, and I wonder if it's around that time they get to that age, I actually thought, I want to give my son a family. Like, I've given him everything, apart from family, whatever we look at that. We all want that, don't we?
Yeah.
And yeah, I met Layla's dad, and he was very, very different to Nigel in lots of ways. And I married him.
Oh, did you marry him?
Yeah, married him, had Layla. It was, I don't know. I mean, it's no secret. Harley's dad was the love of my life. Was I even over Harley's dad when I married Layla's dad? Maybe not. Maybe not.
So what's the story of Harley's dad?
6 years of my life being asked to wait till his boxing career ended, asking my dad to marry, if he could marry me. I have receipts for everything, but really having to live a lie for the last 28 years that my son was a fling or an affair, and it's awful, Cheree.
That's terrible.
It's awful. I've spoke about it quite a bit on here and on my previous podcast. We are going to talk about your book because...
Nigel's in my book.
Is he really?
I think he might be.
Right.
I think you're in the book as well.
Oh, that's all right. Not with Nigel,
no,
on a separate page.
Yeah, on a separate page. So Nigel, the first time I met Nigel, Benn, was when he played at my club. So I was promotions manager of this big nightclub in Torquay called The Venue.
Because that's where you're from, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'm originally from Birmingham, and then my mum moved me to Devon because I used to get in loads of trouble when I lived in Birmingham.
You were wild.
I was a wild child. And then Nigel came to play DJ at our club, and I remember he had this big, massive, diamond encrusted watch on, and this Scouser's gone up to him and he went, "Hey mate, you're alright?" Went to grab his watch and went to pull his watch off him. So Nigel's knocked him out in the club, and then the Scouser's gone to the newspapers and tried to sue him.
Oh wow. And what was the outcome?
And the outcome was it blew up, and it actually made the club really, really popular.
Brilliant. So it's been good for something then.
Yeah.
At least he done that.
So the club went viral, I think, because it was in the Sun, and it was all in the newspapers about someone trying to nick Nigel's watch, and it blew up the club for us, to be honest.
Yeah. And I'm guessing this is when he started DJing.
Yeah.
Right.
So what did you think about him DJing?
Well, a lot of people said he should have taken his gloves off beforehand, but that's another story. When I lived with him, we had decks in the front room.
Right.
From the minute he got up to the minute he would go out or whatever he needed to do, he would be practicing. Like where we lived was just full of music constantly. Constantly. And he did get better. I don't know if he warranted what he charged, but he got better.
I think we paid him ridiculous amounts of money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know...
But he did run the club.
He did.
He did run the club. And he did do a banging set. I was actually quite shocked, really. But he did actually
Do you know what
play
Nigel was good at? Knew his music. Like, The songs he played were brilliant. The mixing was questionable. Yeah, and he was Nigel Benn, wasn't he? So I get it. I get it.
That put our club on the map at the time.
Yeah,
that did.
Yeah,
because I think we was the first person to have Nigel Benn,
to
book him, to have him come down, to have him mix, and then he did all the took pictures and that after.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a really, really good night.
Nigel's great when he's in a good mood. Like, he's a brilliant host, isn't he? You probably saw that. He's very, very friendly. He's very charismatic, and he's good with people when it suits him. Yeah. So I can only imagine that done well for you. But obviously I have a different story with him, which wasn't all good. But I think we've all got a story, haven't we? We've all definitely got a story, which I want to ask you, Cheree. Skibba sadly passed, didn't he?
Yeah.
I want to ask you how you got to hear about that. Were you with him? I don't actually know the full...
So the thing is, we started doing it. So after Fresh Heads, and we started getting all this attention online, and then we did Skibba started doing the breakfast at Skibadee's, entertaining the whole nation really. And he would do this from our apartment, and it just got... He just went viral literally all the time, and you know, life was really good for us. And then obviously we had Skylar, but Skibba was, you know, a massive artist, right? He was a drum and bass legend, an MC that people knew around the world.
The world,
Yeah, and I don't think he knew how much he was loved until he sadly passed away, because for me, it was like everyone was talking about it everywhere. But it was sad because he was going through a really difficult time. We just moved into this penthouse overlooking the sea. It was, he had a music studio there. I had my clinic there. Skylar was there. We had a nanny. We had the perfect life. But I think when Skibba was going back out again, partying, and he had so much temptation, he had this driver that was just no good for him, that just used to do naughty things with him all the time. And it was just, he was surrounded by people that wasn't really looking after him.
So yes people?
Yes people. So I pulled his manager to one side and spoke to various people, spoke to his family, and said, look, I'm really worried about him. He's not eating properly, blah, blah, blah. I'm worried that something really bad's going to happen to him. I think he's going to die. That's my word.
That feeling?
Yeah, I just thought, oh my God, he's going to die. So I remember one time he's come back to the house and I said to him, Alf, I swear I'm never going to see you again. The next time I see you, you're going to be in a coffin.
Skibba's real name is Alf, right? Yeah.
And he was like, oh, shut up, blah, blah. And his mood changed. This beautiful, innocent, lovely, charming, refreshing man changed. And I could see this massive change in him. And the industry...
Was it a slow pattern? A slow process?
It was a slow process. Because we'd have an argument, he would come back and he would get back on track. I would make sure he eats properly. I would give him his smoothies in the morning. I'd look after him. Like, people used to say to me, oh my God, Skibba looks so well since you've been with him, right? And it was like, all his family would say, oh, he looks really well. And then when I wanted help off everybody wouldn't listen to me, which was, you know, I've got messages, I've got text messages, I've got voice messages that I sent to his family begging them for help.
Because while he was still alive?
Yeah. And I would literally be like, please, can someone help me? Because I could see all these things that was going to happen to him. Yeah. My brother died, so I'd been through that situation before, and I could just see what was going on around me.
You know the signs, don't you?
And I thought, I've got baby, I've got my business, I'm trying to run my business, I've got Skibba all over the place. You know, I've got no one listening to me. I moved into this big apartment, which was in the middle of Southend. I didn't know anyone. I've got no, like, my sister lived around the corner, but it was locked down, and it was hard.
It was hard, yeah.
Hard, really hard.
Yeah.
And then I remember it. It was a Sunday, and I get this phone call, and it was Pete the Perv. I call him Pete the Perv, and he rang up, and he's like, Cheree, I've got something to tell you, Skibba's dead.
Just like that.
Just like that. I'm doing someone's licks. It's Sunday. I'm doing someone's licks, Skylar's in ringing, and all I heard was Dad, and I just dropped the phone.
How old was Skylar?
Skylar was just 1.
So you've got this call,
Yeah.
and it was as clinical as
Yeah,
Skibba's dead.
Yeah. So they couldn't come around the house and tell me face to face. They just rang up and just said that, and I
Over
just
the phone.
I just literally dropped the phone, started screaming. When my client come in and she was like, "Oh my God, Cheree, what is going on?" And I said, "My baby dad's dead, my baby dad's dead." And I remember screaming. And it was really weird because the night before, I'd emailed him and said, "Look, let's just try and get you back on track and get you home, and we'll try and sort everything out." And it just...
Did he want to come home in this time, or do you think he was
trying
happy
to... I think he was happy
with the life he was living?
Yeah, but he wanted the best of both worlds. He said to me, "Let me live in my flat in South London on the weekends, and please let me come home during the week." And I said, "No." I said, you know, when we got together, I wouldn't tolerate no women, no womanising, no women. I find out anything, and that's it.
Done.
We're done, right? Because if you wanted to be with someone that's going to let you go out and be a hoe all around this everywhere, then you should be with me. You chose one girl. I'm not one of those girls that are like them footballers' wives that will turn a blind eye.
Yeah.
And even his mum rang me up and she rang me up one time and she went, "If you just turned a blind eye to everything else does, your relationship will be much better." I said, "What, you mean I would let him cheat on me and go off with loads of different women and be a mug? I would never do that to my daughter."
And we'll be okay.
Yeah, we'll be okay. No thanks. I'd rather look after myself and have my dignity about me.
Yeah.
I've tried to help your son as much as I can, but there's just no helping you anymore.
Yeah.
Because I think in that party lifestyle becomes, you're famous, you get girls throwing themselves at you, you get girls online throwing themselves at you. It's just a constant throw. If you can't control yourself as a man and think, "No, I've got beautiful missus at home," and there was tramps, these girls were tramps. Tramps, you've seen me online with him.
Yeah,
skanks. They're like rave tramps.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, oh my God. I'd be out with him and people would be pushing me out the way. And he'd always be very protective, going, "Oh, this is my girl," then pull me up towards him and be like, and the thing is, with us, I think where we'd gone really big online together with the Fresh Eggs with Callum, and we've got all these different people following us really quickly.
Yeah.
It was just like everyone was watching our lives all of a sudden. And then we did the TV show,
which is called
There's No Housewives in the South.
Yes.
So that's still on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And I think that, because I said to Elf, I said, "Elf, right, people are going to come in our house and film us. Now, if you're out on the road being a hoe, I'll find out about it."
Yeah.
Because all this stuff is going to go viral.
Yeah.
And people will start messaging me. And then people would be like, I get a message, and he wouldn't come home. And he'd be like, "He was out in your car last night. I fucked him in your white Range Rover." And I'd be like bouncing off the walls.
Why do these girls get a kick out of hurting
other women?
Yeah, I don't understand that.
And it was not for me. I was like feeling really insecure about myself. I just had a baby. I was like, didn't know where Skibba was. He was just like out running about doing whatever, and I just thought, what am I doing? I'm just like, I've just had a baby, this should be nice, we should be together, we should be enjoying Skylar. And to be honest, the first year of Skylar's life, he was amazing. He was the best dad. Like, I felt like I missed that bond with Skylar growing up because I had to work. Skibba wasn't making no money. I had to be the provider, so I worked.
Funny you saying that, Cheree, about, as I spoke about my journey, I probably still a little bit, angry is the wrong word, but I feel like Nigel took my time as much as I wanted to be around Harley. Not around, that's the wrong word. I was so scared of being harmed and things happening to me and Harley that I was in a bubble. And I overly protected Harley to a point, when I say it wasn't healthy, they called him my bro. He was on my hip constantly. I didn't put him down. He slept with me in my bed because, and the only way I'm relating to that is it's like you lose the enjoyment. That's the word I'm looking for. Do you know what I mean? I wanted to enjoy my baby, but I did, but I was like this constantly to a point it wasn't healthy.
So basically, one of the scenes was in the Snow Housewives in the South was, because what happens is the director would say to us what's happened this week, and me and Skibba sat down and people said, oh, we shouldn't have done that TV show, that's what sent him over the edge, that's what killed him. No, it's not. Me and Skibba had a plan, right? I've got voice messages to the director to say, right, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. We would sit there filming the show and then we'll sit and have a cup of tea and a cuddle after.
Why would, and I don't know this, why would people think that you and Skip are doing a TV show, push him to party, push him to, is that what they were saying?
Yeah. I mean, there was the hate and the people, what people would say
trolling
about me, the trolling, would say Skibba shouldn't have done the TV show shouldn't have gone out. They didn't realise that Skibba was the one that got his mate to fund the TV show.
Yeah.
So it was all Skibba as well as myself.
Yeah.
And bless Skibba, if he would have been here still, he would have been loving the TV show. I mean, even like Skibba loved the fame. He loved the fame. He loved the spotlight. He loved the attention that he got. It was all part of him.
Part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just loved it.
Yeah.
You know? Even though he'd be like getting tired, he was very tired, he was drained, you know, he had a lot of health issues as well, like he was on a lot, he used to be on a lot of medication because he had sickle cell, but he only had sickle cell trait. Skylar's got sickle cell trait.
Just going to ask you that, because
Skylar's
it's
got sickle cell trait.
big thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
So Skylar has traits of sickle cell.
She's sickle cell trait. So a lot of the hospitals don't really know much about sickle cell. So when the health visitor came around and said Skylar's got sickle cell trait, I was panicking. I said, Skibba, what is... I knew Asia gets really ill with sickle cell. Skibba had sickle cell trait, so it's just where your blood cells go in different directions. But I've noticed that a lot with Skylar lately, she feels the cold more. And
it's really prominent for me, you saying this, because I think I have touched on this before, but I remember Harley getting rushed to hospital. They thought he had fluid on the brain. It was probably the worst day of my life. And they were asking about his history and, you know, Dad. And I don't know Nigel's health history. You know, when I was with him, he was perfectly healthy, but I don't know the background. And I couldn't answer. And they're looking at me and I thought, this is my child and I can't answer some of the questions you want to know, and I also don't have a contact number to ring, and we thought my baby had fluid on the brain. If he's going to die, his dad wouldn't even know. Do you know what I mean? It's like when these dads aren't around, it's not just not being around.
It's horrible.
It's not just not, oh, you didn't buy them a school coat. It's a lot fucking deeper than that.
Yeah.
And I don't think people realise.
Yeah, and it's through the whole journey, because like I remember Skylar starting school and I was like, oh, what does your husband do? Yeah. And I'm like, and then we had this group chat and I thought, you know what, I just want to get it out there so no one's going to ask me all these weird questions all the time. Not weird questions, but like questions where I was still very vulnerable, where it just Skibba's name would make me cry.
I can imagine.
So I just said, look, Skylar's dad's sadly passed away, and I'm on my own. I just want to tell you all, so you don't keep asking me,
100%.
what does your husband do?
Yeah.
And then another person will go, oh hi, I'm so and so. Oh, what does Skylar's dad do? And I'm like, you know,
no.
And it's not their fault.
No, it's not their fault, but you wanted to put it out there.
Yeah.
So that it's
and sometimes I can come across a little bit abrupt, but I think I've got to deal with so many issues, you know, every day with Skylar when I wake up in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've got to make sure that that baby's happy every morning.
Yeah.
And don't like wake up thinking about her dad, and it's just like I worry about what goes on in our head,
in our little mind.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing. I want to take it back a little bit just to that fateful day, and you being told over the phone. What happened after that?
So they rang Asia and Asia was driving. Like, what sort of people would tell you such news? Skibba would go mad, ringing his daughter while she's driving to tell her that her dad's died. What sort of people do that?
Yeah.
Like, you come around the house, you sit there and you tell people.
Do it properly.
I was screaming. I just went hysterical. I cannot hardly remember the next couple of days because I just was completely numb. I remember Joe and Lucy come round the house, Kelly Rock came round, the nanny was there, Jenny come round the house. There was one of Carly, she came around the house. All my really good friends at the time came to support me. And I just was like, if you've ever lost anyone, you mentally and they're in a different planet.
Yeah.
And I remember all of it, I couldn't go online because it was just, everything was flooded. And then I just remember flowers. And I had hundreds of flowers, hundreds and hundreds. In my head, I was always going to get back with Skibba. In my head, I just thought, do you know what, go and get yourself sorted out and then come back correct.
Yeah.
Let's split up. You live your life, I live my life, and then...
Well, you had a baby to concentrate on, didn't you?
Yeah, I
couldn't...
I went into mum mode.
Yeah.
And, you know, I probably did become a little bit boring because didn't want to go out much, just wanted to be with my baby.
That's what we do, isn't it?
Yeah, I just wanted to be with Skylar.
Yeah.
And also, I think I'd had all that time with Skibba looking after Skylar, because he did. He watched her all the way throughout of our life.
Yeah.
Like, he was such a good dad. While I was working, because I had the clinic in the house, and we had like all these bills to pay, and so I just looked after the family and he watched Skylar because he couldn't do his music. But he had his music studio and he was still doing his tracks and stuff. I mean, Skibba is one of the most talented men ever when it comes to music. He could, the sounds what he used to do and his MCing over certain songs and the music files that I have at home of his music, and I've still got all his clothes. Not all of them. Yeah. So
will there come a time when...
yeah, it's like, I feel like, what do I do with them? Because do I keep them for Skylar? You know, do I donate them? Do I do an exhibition? What do I do with them? Because part of me just thinks, you know, they're stage outfits and, you know, it's hard because I've still got them in boxes.
I hear that. It's not and this is no disrespect on anyone, but it's not a few jumpers that are hanging up. It's outfits that mean something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which puts a whole new light on that.
And the thing is as well, with like, his mum, say for instance, like Skibba was really, you would see him online, he was immaculately dressed. He always had his hat on, he always had his glasses on. So when I went to I spoke to the family on the phone, I said I want to go and see him. So I went and seen him in the Chapel of Rest and I was just heartbroken, I was crying and he just didn't look right, it didn't look like him. And I said to his family, I've only got one wish, is you wear his sunglasses and you put his hat on and I'll give you some garments for him. Which is him. Yeah, I said please do not let anybody see him without his glasses on because he didn't look right, okay? When you pass away, your face just goes funny, and I said that's the only thing I wish for, is that he goes and has his glasses and his hat on and his garments. No, they wouldn't listen to me. He had an open coffin, it was the 9 nights that they do, and I could not believe my eyes that people, it was like he was saying, Cheree, don't let the man them see me like this, because even if someone come round to our house, they would come round to our house, he would put his glasses on, he'd put his shades on, he'd put his hat on, and he would be Skibba. Even the nanny would not see him without his glasses and hat on. That's how funny he would be.
Yeah.
Obviously me, he would just be normal. Elf, do you know what I mean? But even if my clients would come round, he would be like putting his hat on, his glasses on. That's how much his mum never knew him. Because if she knew him the way, if she knew it, the real Elf, which was Skibadee, I know it was two different people, but she would have dressed him correctly. Now,
did you have no say in...
Nothing. So when I seen him, he had a big red dicky bow on and a blue suit, and his hair looked weird, and he looked completely weird. He didn't even look like him.
So you felt like that wasn't your...
And I was so upset.
Skibadee.
No, because that's what he was. He was Skibba. He liked being Skibadee. He didn't actually, you know, he lived for being Skibba. And that for me was really upsetting. And I remember the 9/9 night, they pushed me over into a certain part of the ceremony. All the family was there, and they pushed me over to there. And I just felt like they just did that on purpose to make me look horrible. And I remember me, Gemma Lucy, Kelly the Rock, the girls from twins from the TV show were all clodhopping down this 9/9 thing, and all you could hear was all our heels. And then someone said, "Look, there's Cheree with her entourage." And I'm like, entourage?
You're there with your friends
They're my friends.
Grieve and pay respects to your partner.
Like, we'd just done a TV show with these girls. Gemma was my friend at the time, and these girls was helping me come to terms with everything. And for me, I was in so much shock. I had Skylar.
I bet you needed them girls.
Yeah, I needed, and they was all strong.
Yeah.
Marsha and Mel, strong girls.
Yeah.
Kelly the Rock, strong woman. Gemma Lucy, strong. Then I've got Jenny, my PA, strong. Amanda, strong. All helping me to come together. How can you...
What an amazing thing for you to have a group of women supporting you. Like, you'd think that would be wanted for you. No,
it wasn't. And even like at the funeral, they said, "Cheree, you cannot bring your entourage." And I'm like, these are all people that Skibba loved. Do you know what I mean? It's not Cheree and her entourage.
No.
You don't know nothing about him, because obviously Skibba was there coming around. He was in the house all the time when the girls was coming around.
These girls.
Yeah.
And even so, they were supporting you, and you are the mother of his child.
Yeah. There was no respect there. No respect. And then there was like, oh, Cheree and her social media. My social media helped to do the GoFundMe, right, which made thousands of pounds, which all my celebrity mates paid into. And there were certain bits of money that went missing. Now, my social media was blowing up everywhere, helping to generate some money for the kids, which got put into an account for the kids. But one of the childs, no one could account for a certain amount of money, which was supposed to have gone to this girl in Germany. And I'm like, where's this money gone? So it was really bad things happening. Skylar was supposed to get royalties from his music.
Did Skylar get money from her dad?
She did get money from her dad, which is in a high, a high interest account, but she should be still getting royalties from him.
Yeah.
Anyway, one of the music artists messaged me and he went, "Cheree, I just wanted to see if Skylar's getting this money." And I said, "No, she's not getting no money," which is, you know, it's bad, because one day Skylar's going to look back at all this, and at least I know I can hold my head up high and know that I did everything I could for her dad. And, you know, you can see online what our relationship was, but that family really tried to bring me down. Not only was I suffering with losing Skibba, then I had his crazy cousin stalking me. So he's like, Skibba's not even gone a day, and his crazy cousin's ringing me up wanting to come round to the house, and I said no. Since I said no, you're not coming round to Pete the Perv, he then
shut that down.
Yeah, and I was like, "Peter, no, you're not coming round. I've got Gemma Lucy and Kelly the Rock and all the girls around here. We didn't want Pete the Perv around there." Ever since that, he just switched on me. He was stalking my pages, he was telling everybody I killed Skibba, he was saying horrible stuff about me, he was stalking everything online.
Wow.
And a girl that was seeing him at the time, she said he was obsessed with me. He used to sit there, watching my Instagram every night. I had so many fake accounts following me. This man made my life hell. And I thought, you're not even Skibba's cousin for a start, you're an absolute crackhead himself, and you are doing all these horrible things to me. I have just lost my baby dad.
I was just about to say, you're a new mum You're going through the loss of Skibba.
Yeah.
And then you have this on top of that.
Yeah. And then I also had him stalking me, and then I also had another stalking me as well, which was following me in the gym as well.
Oh my
so
gosh.
it was yeah, it was a lot. And then he was taking pictures of me behind in the gym. When I went to the gym to try and get my head together, it was a lot. But and also I was living in the house as well.
And who was your rock through all of this? The girls?
The girls.
Yeah.
The girls. The girls were really, really good. But it wasn't just when Skibba died, it was after as well.
Yeah.
Like, they would all come to my house all the time, and I just couldn't even sleep. So for a long time I couldn't sleep because I was just like so numb. Couldn't sleep.
I can't imagine.
It wasn't until I moved out of the house, that's when I went to the gym, then that's when I got that stalker and tried to get my life together. But I just think when you lose someone like your baby dad, it's like I had all these people saying I'd killed him, and I was like, for the 2 months before he died, he wasn't even with me. He was out with other women, going crazy, and you know, when he was with me, he was, you know, looked after.
What type of person would say that to a new mum, somebody that has lost their baby's dad, that you killed them? Like, what is in people's minds to be so evil?
Yeah, I think it's because you had like this Peter who was just completely off his head, and then you had his driver, because obviously I had a voice on social media, and I was like, this is what's happened to Skibba. You have helped, both of you have helped to put him where he was, because of the lifestyle what both of you was giving him. You're supposed to be his best friends, right? You're supposed to be his best friends that you've known for years, that you've grown up with. But his last phone call was to Peter, and I had Skibba's bill at the house, and he'd rang up Peter and he said, I don't feel very well. Peter didn't even go there because he was getting off his head with
So he was alone when...
Yeah, so he was alone when he passed, and he was sadly in the house for 2 days on his own.
Or somebody found him?
Yeah.
And who did find him?
His brother found him. His brother found him. But I'd been ringing his family, telling them to go around the house and saying to him I had a feeling that something was wrong with Skibba, and something was not right. But where this had happened a few months before, and then I'd rang up the family and said, I'm really worried about him, please can you go around and make sure he's alright. I kept dreaming that he was going to die.
Isn't that strange? And the time before that you had that bad feeling, obviously he was okay.
Yeah.
But was he in a situation?
He was just, so I went round there with his manager, I met his manager there, and we was there, and he was okay. He was just in a bad way. But then the time again, it happened a couple of times, and I remember his manager's wife saying, he's going to cry wolf one day and no one's going to be there. And I was like, I think they've got to a point where they'd be like, oh, Cheree's on the phone moaning again. But I would be like, please, can you go and check he's alright? I've got this keep dreaming he's going to die. I've got this bad feeling. And I had that with my brother. So,
and you lost your brother, didn't you?
And I'm very spiritual, so, you know, I just didn't get this really good feeling, and I just had this really horrible feeling. And when his brother came round and picked up his stuff and he said, Cheree, you've done the right thing, you know, kicking him out, it will kick him into touch and realise,
sort himself out,
and hopefully he'll realise what he's got. Because obviously he had this lovely house, he had me, he had Skylar, and he just got himself into this horrible little hole that he'd got himself into, which sadly I couldn't get him out of. But his brother was like, and I said to his brother, I feel like he's going to die. I keep getting this feeling he's going to die. And he said, Cheree, just concentrate on Skylar. But I was like, I can't help how I feel. I've not felt like this since my brother died.